On this episode of Mythbusters Junior,
Adam, your farts blew me away.
an entire episode dedicated to Adam's gas.
My farts have real power!
Yay!
Rachel, Valerie, and Jesse
Letting one rip in 3, 2, 1.
tackle the myth that a medical laser could ignite a patient's flatus on the operating table.
Something happened!
And Allie, Elijah, and Cannon
Hold on to your butts.
test the power of Adam's back-end blowout
This myth is all about testing if Adam's farts are a viable combustible fuel.
with a full-scale rocket launch.
Yes, I'm back. With the brand new team of the best builders, the brightest minds, and the boldest busters I could find. Yes, they're a bunch of kids, but the myths, they are as full-size and as explosive as ever. This is Mythbusters Junior.
All right, this is what we're gonna be talking about today.
You might not have heard the word flatus, but you are certainly familiar with what it refers to.
Fart.
Yes! All right,
It's gas produced in the stomach or intestines by either swallowing air or fermenting gut bacteria.
anybody else have other terms for flatus?
Cutting the cheese.
Cutting the cheese, yes.
Letting it rip.
Toot your boot. Back-end blowout.
Maybe excreting nitrogen, oxygen, methane, hydrogen, you know, those sorts of things.
Yes, it is the universal gas that we all produce.
And this isn't the first time we've dedicated an entire show to the Californian barking spider.
So Adam, you know, a lot of people may not realize that the gas contained in Flatus can come from a couple of different sources.
It's true. The first type is actually pretty much like a butt burp. Just as swallowed air can be belched out of your mouth, it can also make its way all the way through your system and come out the other end. The other way is from the breakdown of food in your gut. There are bacteria, enzymes, and acids in there that when they break down your food during digestion, they create gas as a byproduct.
And of course, different types of food would create different quantities of gas, right?
That's what we're testing. And apparently, these bacteria go ballistic for beans.
Yep, the team spent 3 whole days recording their every move, or movements, as the case may be, assessing their average rate of flatus output on a regular run-of-the-mill diet.
And
I
it's,
allocate myself to 6 gas passings per day.
And then trialed a bunch of the most mythically flatal diets.
Refried beans.
While Adam filled up on the prime suspect, Jamie tested a meat menu.
I'll start with a nice ribeye steak.
And the ever-effervescent Carrie was on the bubbles. The results?
All right, kids, it's been 24 hours on the new diet. What were the results?
My meat diet cut my flatulence production by about 50%.
Carrie?
I doubled. I went from a 2 to a 5 with carbonated beverages.
I had stunning results on the beans. I had 9 during the day, 11 more late at night and early in the morning. I didn't even count the ones while I was sleeping, so it was like a 100% increase for me too.
Uh-huh. Totally conclusive and way too much information. Yep, and today it's the universal subject for both teams.
If we're gonna do a whole episode about flatus and its properties, we're gonna need a reliable source for a lot of it. That's what this bottle contains. We had it specially made based on exactly the gas that I produce. How did we gather that data? I remember it like it was yesterday.
It's difficult to forget. Back when the team tested a bunch of Flatus-inspired myths, Adam designed a devious device to catch his own butt bubbles in the bathtub.
Hey, we got one!
And the delicate process had a purpose.
I have 4 specimen of Flatus. They're gonna test them and see exactly what's in them.
Oh, God.
To test whether it's possible to suffocate on one's own gases, the Busters had to break down the chemical components of an average atom outburst. And using Adam's Flatus, they realized it would take an unfeasibly long time before you could suffocate in a confined space.
That's 22 years of solid gas passing.
So, Flatus testing is a kind of mythbustery rite of passage.
Let the fun begin.
And Adams brewed up a complex one for Ali, Cannon, and Elijah.
This is our myth. Is my flatulence, my prodigious flatulence, a viable combustible fuel?
It's a big question. And to test the viability of Adam's homemade gas, the team will be running it through its paces. First up, an exploration of its energy density. Second, a comparative flammability test versus methane. And for the Flatus finale, they'll attempt to use Adam's back-end burners to launch a full-scale rocket. So, first things first, to confirm if Adam's Flatus holds any serious combustion cred, Team Fart Fuel is starting with a simple experiment.
We're going to test to see if we can boil water with Adam's farts, which is really weird, and I thought I'd never say that before.
To determine the energy density of Flatus, they're comparing it to methane.
Methane is 95% of the natural gas you use to cook in your stove, so this should be a perfect control.
And it takes precisely
14 minutes and 45 seconds.
for the methane burner to boil 1 liter of water.
Excellent. I'm gonna plumb in the farts, and let's see how long that takes.
Next up, Adam's gas ignites, but the watched pot
This is taking a lot longer than expected.
takes its sweet time.
Methane only took 14 minutes and 45 seconds to boil, and at this point we're over 35 minutes with this Adam's farts here.
So Adam's stuff doesn't burn with the same efficiency as a more common fuel, but it does burn.
We're kind of just hanging out and doing origami at this point.
What's the time?
1 hour, 24 minutes, and 38 seconds.
That's awesome. I'm gonna turn it off. There we go.
We boiled water with your farts.
Yeah.
You should have made tea.
Oh, actually, I prepared 4 cups with tea bags earlier.
Oh, goodness, no.
Yes, Allie.
No, mm-mm.
Cheers, everybody. Some Flatus boiled tea for science.
Yuck.
It might not tantalize Allie's taste buds, but Flatus has passed its first test on its way to answering the myth of being a viable combustible fuel.
So, you can boil water with farts, just it takes super long.
Allie, your tea's getting cold.
No, thanks.
So while Allie, Elijah, and Cannon brew up the next test for their barn burner, it's time to check in on Valerie, Jesse, and Rachel for myth number 2.
Imagine you are a surgeon using the latest piece of medical technology, a surgical laser, and you are in the middle of an operation with a patient on the table, using that laser to do whatever it does, when all of a sudden it contacts a fart. And the combination of the laser and the fart sets the operating room on fire. So that's the myth. Can a medical laser ignite a fart? Oh, we are so going to test this.
Before they dive into the bowels of this myth and find out if a laser can indeed ignite a surgical patient's gas, Valerie, Jesse, and Rachel kick off with a proof of concept using a 1-watt commercial laser.
All right, guys, let's get your laser safety glasses on.
Whoa.
Can a simple amplified beam of light be used as an ignition source?
I was thinking we should try and set some stuff on fire.
Sounds awesome.
Could we light a match?
I have one right here.
Oh, wow.
Jesse, will you man the button?
Yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, boop.
All right. Match going into laser beam.
Yep.
Wow.
Do it.
No trouble sparking the match, so where to next?
In this balloon
is a fart. We'll be firing up this high-powered laser downrange towards our balloon.
That way, we can safely assess if Adam's farts can be ignited by a laser. And this is closer than I ever want my face to Adam's fart.
We are shooting farts with lasers for science. Let that sink into your heads. How cool is that?
It's kind of weird, too.
Yep, weird science, all right. This puppy's for real.
Shooting farts with lasers. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God.
That was just a balloon popping. I don't think I saw any fire whatsoever.
Why didn't it work? We know farts are flammable.
That's a good question. I see two possible explanations. One is that the concentration of methane in my fart mixture might not be enough to see a flame, or it could be that the laser doesn't have enough power to ignite the gas. It's just popping the balloon.
The most combustible component of Adam's Flatus is the methane, but it's only 7% of the total volume. So can the laser ignite a balloon filled with pure methane?
All right, this is methane laser explosion.
Maybe.
Hopefully. In 3, 2, 1. Wow! So where's our big explosion?
Once again, the laser pops the balloon, but there's no fireball.
The laser's powerful enough to pop the balloon, but not ignite the gas. See here? The black matter is our gas, escaping into the atmosphere, not on fire.
What about just trying a lighter on a balloon full of the fart mixture versus a balloon full of methane, just to get a cross comparison?
Adam suits up to check that the gas's flammability is not what's going to bust this myth.
3, 2, 1. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
The methane fireball confirms it was the laser failing to ignite the gas.
Okay, bring on one of my farts. I want to set some stuff on fire now.
And just to be sure that Adam's own output burns too,
Fart is positioned.
Okay, my fart is settled into the fart holder. My hand is on the lighter. Let's make some science. Adam's Flatus in 3, 2, 1. That was good! I felt the heat!
That was a fart!
yep, the Flatus causes a not-so-silent but deadly backdraft. So what's missing?
I think this laser, as powerful as it is, and it's pretty powerful, it's not even close. So, in order to call this myth, we're gonna need to bring in the big gun, the medical laser.
To find out if a laser can cause flatulence to ignite and burn down the OR, Jesse, Valerie, and Rachel have brought in the big guns. The most powerful surgical lasers in the business. A CO2 gas-generated laser beam should heat things up. On hand to assist is Jordan, an expert medical laser operator.
So this is how a surgeon would be doing it in the OR.
So the commercial model might have failed to fire, but with 60 times the power, can the CO2 laser ignite Adam's flatuosity?
Adam's fart, 60 watts. In 3, 2, 1.
Nada.
Not a promising result. And when they set up with a pure methane control,
All right, this is methane with 60 watts. And 3, 2, 1.
Same result.
once again, there's no ignition.
Even at 60 watts, our CO2 laser was not able to ignite our methane balloon gas.
So the balloon popped again, but no ignition.
Myth busted? Well, maybe not. The laser may not be the only source of ignition to fuel this incendiary myth.
In order to ignite our fire, we need sustained heat. And in an operating room, there's tons of things that could catch on fire.
The laser can't interact with the low-density gaseous fuel. It requires a different fuel source. Can the laser set something else on fire to provide an open flame? Let's find out.
So what if we choose a bunch of things from an operating room and figure out which ones are the most flammable?
Great. I love setting things on fire.
The team reasons that surgical towels and wraps are as good a place as any to try and kickstart an accidental fire in the OR.
Well, let's try one of these synthetic materials.
Absolutely.
We have this operating cloth.
Oh, yeah. We do have fire here. It's totally going. This is now under its own ignition. Cut the laser. That's great. That's look at that. There we go.
The laser easily ignites the operating cloth.
Is that a fire?
I think that might be.
And the surgical towel.
There we go. Hey!
Laser standby.
It's a huge breakthrough for the myth.
That is awesome. We have 2 candidates that are flammable that occur in an operating room. Now we have to fart on them with science.
Yay!
Before Team Laser let loose, our rocket scientists are tackling the tall tale of Flatus as a viable fuel. While Allie is prepping for liftoff, Adam, Elijah, and Cannon are setting up for a towering inferno.
In order to determine just how powerful my farts might be, Elijah and Cannon and I are going to be implementing an oldie but goodie Mythbuster test. See, if you take methane gas and bubble it through soapy water, it makes a column of bubbles that you can then light on fire. Yeah, Jamie and I did it years ago.
Yep. And the result?
Wow. That was like the beast dying at the end of the movie.
The difference today is that we'll be making the bubble tower out of methane as our control.
Let's make a flaming bubble tower.
And then we'll be comparing it against a bubble tower made of my farts.
Just reach 6 feet.
And see just how buoyant and flammable it can be.
It's separating. It's separating.
You guys ready?
Yeah. Yep. Now.
Oh, yeah!
That was beautiful.
Oh.
With the control reaching 7.5 feet, the guys are all set to assess the power of Adam's gas by measuring the comparative fireball height.
We only have 7% methane and 20% hydrogen. So we might get a little flame, but I'm not expecting much to happen.
Adam's personal bubble tower gets off to a steady start.
I'm actually kind of impressed that we're getting this much verticality out of the fart bubble snake.
The fart bubble snake?
Seems like it's as good a thing to call it as anything.
Adam's gas mixture doesn't quite have the same uplifting properties as pure methane, and the column leans and lists lazily.
And he huffed. And he puffed.
I have never done anything as strange as this before in my entire life. Never thought I'd be lighting farts on fire.
It doesn't look like it wants to keep on going north. It's like we've reached the maximum structural stability of my fart bubble tower.
There's only one thing left to do.
Let's light this puppy on fire. Adam's farts getting lit on fire. 3, 2, 1.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh.
Time to check the results on the high speed. First up, the methane control.
Oh boy.
Look, and it's like eating itself up from the underside.
It's pure flame. It's like special effects from a movie.
It really is.
But the Flatus fire appears less impressive.
It just looks like it's shriveling up.
It does. I mean, these flames are barely visible.
That's until they check the thermal imaging for Adam's output.
Whoa.
It looks 90% cooler
Oh
on
my
the thermal
goodness.
camera.
I did not see that when we did that.
Because the Flatus contains hydrogen, which burns clearer than methane, the fire is almost invisible to the naked eye.
I've heard of the phrase silent but deadly, but invisible but deadly is a lot scarier.
So Adam's gas may not have a flame that's as visible as methane's. But thanks to the hydrogen component, it does ignite and causes quite the fireball, even if it's only visible on the thermal camera. The thermal camera has been an ever-reliable ally for the Mythbusters. This handy piece of kit almost single-handedly busted the Reddit rumor that farts themselves are visible on airport security's thermal imaging.
So the story here goes that you can use a thermal imaging camera to see a Flatus. And you can see by looking at the image of my face that the bright yellow areas are the hot ones. The darker blue ones, like my hat, are colder. So given that gas coming out of my body should probably be about the same temperature as my body, you would think that it would show up.
So Adam constructed a machine that can eject a flatus at human body temperature.
That's what all this equipment is. It will soon be a machine that can fart. The basic gist of my Flatus generator design is that it needs to be at body temperature. That's the temperature our home-built Flatuses are. So I'm going to generate the Flatus from inside a gas chamber floating in a water bath that will be kept at human body temperature. Ha! Perfect.
But despite the perfect conditions,
all right, Mr. Heineman, I got the correct temperature.
And the guy's best efforts to squeeze life out of the myth.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Anything? The suspense is killing me.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yep, that viral video turned out to be a flatulent fraud. And leaving nothing to the imagination,
a tube and some freezing cold compressed air, often used in electronics for making circuits cold. Watch what it does here. Thermal imaging camera, here we come. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks exact. Oh, woo! Hey, that's cold. Woo! Don't try that at home.
Adam and Jamie exposed the flaw in the fake.
Like Adam just showed, the gas in the viral video was colder than the surrounding atmosphere. That's because it was dark. It should be warmer than the surrounding atmosphere. So if you're going to cheat it, you need steam, like this. So sorry, guys, I got to tell you, you got it all bass-ackwards.
Fire!
Rockets and the Mythbusters go together like lift and off.
Yeehaw!
And back in the day, day one, in fact, the team took on the story of the infamous JATO rocket car.
Brakes are coming off. We are a go.
With legendary results.
3, 2, 1, fire.
That was absolutely outrageous.
And to find out if Adam's natural gas can be used as rocket fuel,
I've never lit my fart on fire before, so I don't really know if it would shoot you across the room, but my guess is probably not.
our resident inventor, Allie, has a small-scale prototype ready to launch.
We're going to try and test if we can build a rocket that runs on farts. Basically, how a rocket works is it has some kind of fuel like methane, and then it's paired with oxygen to ignite and shoot the rocket off.
First up, a control, pure methane and oxygen. Cannon fills the bottle with water to displace the air.
All right, Allie, bring in some O2.
Okay.
The water is then replaced with 2 parts oxygen.
Perfect. Okay, here, Cannon, hold that.
1 part methane. And the bottle's sealed up.
Put it in tight. Awesome.
Yes.
Here's your first rocket.
Yeah.
Let's get it over to the string.
Okay.
With a guide string, 10-foot markers, and the high-speed camera ready to roll, they're set up for the countdown.
Go ahead and pull the cork. All right, here we go. Methane rocket test in 3, 2, 1. Wow!
Holy cow!
Boom!
Wow.
That was neat.
That scared me.
Feel that one.
Yeah, I could feel that in my chest.
Wow.
It startled me very much because I didn't expect it to be that fast or that loud.
The control sets an impressive benchmark. Extremely impressive.
For the methane gas, it was 84 miles per hour.
Wow. It fell off.
There it is.
So clearly it made it all the way to at least this camera.
Yeah.
So 50 feet.
I'm curious to see how our fart gas does.
Well, let's light up our farts then. I didn't want to say that, they made me.
I had no part in that.
For our second test, we're going to be using the same amount of oxygen as in the first test, only we're going to be replacing the methane with fart fuel.
We've got our fart rocket. Let's light it up.
This is the only place where you get to hear sentences like this.
Let's go.
So just how powerful is Adam's subway steamer?
Fart rocket in 3, 2, 1.
That That didn't go too far, but that was cool.
Make it past the 10 mark.
It got exactly to the 10 mark. That is fantastic. I loved how gentle that was, considering how crazy energetic the first one was.
Oh, man, yeah.
Cannon once again crunches the numbers.
It was 9 miles per hour.
That was just as anticlimactic as it looked.
Exactly.
But on the bright side,
We made a rocket out of Adam's farts.
This is true. It's still really cool. Okay, high fives all around.
and more importantly, with some Rocket Science 101, they have an ingenious plan to get more back-end bang for their buck.
How do we get to go farther?
Maybe if we added a nozzle to the end, it could redirect the airflow to go a lot faster.
Let's do it. Okay, let's go.
By adding a nozzle with a narrow output, the rocket fuel will be under increased pressure, thereby creating greater fuel efficiency and stronger propulsion.
Okay.
Perfect.
Put our nozzle in place.
This one, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
My farts have real power!
Yay!
I got sprayed with water.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah, but look at it this way. It was only fart water.
Doesn't make it any better.
No.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was. Because the hole is smaller, then it forces the air out in one direction a lot better, so it causes a really direct airstream.
I think you're totally right. I think the smaller nozzle is key. But I'm also starting to feel like getting a precise mixture of the oxygen to fart gas ratio is difficult when we're working in such a small scale. Maybe we should go up to a larger bottle. What do you think?
Sounds fun.
Awesome.
So the team scale up to a mid-size rocket, keeping the same fuel ratio of 2 parts oxygen and 1 part atom air.
2-liter rocket in 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Hey!
That was amazing.
That was fabulous!
Cool.
The mid-scale result is a breath of fresh air for the Myth.
The 2-liter fart bottle rocket blew my expectations away.
It went 50 feet and 40 miles per hour.
So you know there's only one place to go from here, and that's bigger and up. And I'm feeling very optimistic about our savage Flatus-powered rocket.
Adam has a canister full of Flatus. The gas components match the real ratio of his natural output.
Hey, we got one!
And the team wants to know if it can be used as a viable combustible rocket fuel.
We want to scale up this next test with our fart rockets, and we're going to be using these 5-gallon jugs. We also have these blast panels right here, so if there's any explosions, then we will be safe. And we also have this remote ignition, so I can be really far away when we actually have liftoff.
Allie and senior design consultant John Marcoux are starting off by testing for the ideal oxygen to fart fuel ratio.
That's a lot of fart.
It's really gross.
With the tried and tested small-scale ratio of 2-to-1 oxygen to fuel, they're expecting big things.
5-gallon fart rocket test in 3, 2, 1. Okay then. That was not what I was expecting.
Once again, that old Mythbusters frenemy, stoichiometry, raises its ugly head. Getting the perfect blend of fuel and oxygen requires patience and repeat testing.
I hate to say it, but I think we need more farts.
You can always do with more farts.
So we're going to try amping up the amount of farts we're using to a 1-to-1 ratio.
So while Allie perfects the blend of Chanel No. 2 rocket fuel, Cannon and Elijah are in design mode for the full-scale rocket.
Since we're moving from a tethered line to actually launching our bottle rocket in the air, we're gonna have to come up with a more aerodynamic design.
A nose cone at the top and stabilizer at the tail
19 inches?
I think that's actually just about 10 inches.
will maximize airflow and minimize drag.
3/4 is here.
And our resident rocket scientists are ready for their maiden voyage. They just need the fuel. And back outside, they're about to test a 1-to-1 ratio of oxygen and Flatus.
Okay, this is fart rocket, large scale in 3, 2, 1.
Woo!
Yay!
That was so good. Oh, man.
That was awesome.
We blew the top off the rig.
Yeah.
Just shot the lid all the way over there. And that was just farts.
Farts and oxygen. So should we go check out the high speed?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, it's so beautiful.
1-to-1 is a step in the right direction. Question is, can they go any faster?
2 parts oxygen, 1 part fart. Not much happened. 1-to-1, a lot more interesting. So maybe we
Amazing.
need to add more farts?
Okay. To the gas station.
Gas station. Oh.
Fart station.
Risking catastrophic explosion rather than liftoff, the team upped the ratio to a ripe 60% Flatus, 40% oxygen.
This is 60-40 fart rocket test in 3, 2, 1.
Jeez.
Was that bigger? That sounded bigger.
I think it was bigger.
That was fun.
I think we did it.
Yay!
Yes.
Let's go
Okay.
check it out.
Whew.
Yep, they've hit the stoichiometric sweet spot.
That must have had a lot of power. I think this is the ratio that we were looking for.
And there's only one thing left to do.
I think we go to a better location and unleash this puppy. Let it fly sky high.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
While Team Fuel decamped to a suitable location, Valerie, Rachel, and Jesse are applying laser-like focus to the myth of catastrophic combustion
There we go.
during surgery.
There we go. Hey!
Well, we got a flame, and the flame is exactly like the lighter, so if the lighter can ignite the fart, why can't the flame? I'm feeling pretty confident.
But the camp's divided about whether it'll ignite Adam's cut cheese.
It's time to bring in our fart gas to see if we could get closer to the actual results described in the myth. Based on what I've seen so far, I'm not feeling so confident.
To settle the debate, master builder Jesse has created a sophisticated whoopee cushion device to release the gas in the anatomically accurate area.
This is the Crop Duster 8000. How this works is Adam's Flatus, also known as Adam's butt fart, is going to fill up in this bag. Then I'm gonna put this into the Crop Duster 8000. It's gonna make the fart waft through our fart box, through our flaming surgical material, and hopefully we'll see our fart explosion that we've been looking for.
The Crop Duster 8000 will deliver around 350 milliliters of Flatus. It's the top end of the scale for an average release.
We have a sample that can catch on fire. Now we're going to add the fart gas. But there's a problem because if we light it on fire and the fart gas causes this big ignition, could that burn up our laser? We have stolen a piece of equipment from the camera crew to solve that problem, and it's this. Watch this. Whoop. See? We can move the whole laser away from, oh, and we'll have to turn it off so it doesn't burn right through me. Away from the rig before we add the gas. I love technology. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, it's much better now.
I'm so scared this fart's gonna pop me in my face.
Valerie?
Yes.
Shall we do the laser?
In 3, 2, 1.
Fire.
Fire.
Okay, laser off. Let's wait for it. Let's let it get a little bit more.
With the flame tentatively burning, it's time to add the thunder from down under.
All right, releasing fart.
But the patient's bomber fails to blast off.
I didn't see anything happen from that.
Nothing?
Nothing. I think we might need a bigger fart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, it's time to beef up the beef. 700 milliliters to be exact.
This is one big fart.
At double the average output, it's still within an achievable human range.
All right, you guys all ready?
Ready.
Yes.
Fart in place?
You fart in place.
Laser ready?
Ready.
Thermal camera? Valerie?
Okay,
Do it.
laser in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got a little flame. Got a little flame.
Oh.
Yep.
Wait.
Laser off. Get ready, Jesse. Go for it. Go ahead and release the fart.
All right, fart releasing in 3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Cool. That was something. Something. Something happened.
That's the technical term.
Yes.
Something happened.
And that something might be just what the team are looking for.
I'm seeing white, completely white, still on fire.
Look, the whole thing is
The
buckling.
whole thing, yeah.
There's a lot more to this result than first meets the eye.
It's on invisible fire. I've never seen invisible fire.
Invisible
well, I
fire.
can't by definition, but it's on fire and I can't see it.
The clear flame of the hydrogen once again providing a tantalizing and totally terrifying result.
That might be one of the more dangerous things I've ever imagined. Fire one can't see. Nice work, everyone! Okay, so while we couldn't see the fire, our thermal and gas detecting camera probably did. Let's check this out.
Wow. That was cool.
That was a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yes.
Wow.
Dude.
The thermal image reveals the true ferocity of the clear and invisible flame. And as for the myth, the well-timed whopper has given this one a whiff of plausibility.
All right, I think we have enough to move on to our full-scale test.
I agree. All right, let's meet back in the OR.
All right.
So the myth is, can a surgical laser light a fart on fire?
And to go full scale, Rachel, Valerie, and Jesse are recreating an all-too-accurate operating room scenario.
We are going full scale, and that's what's happening behind me. Our patient has had his chest cut out. On top of that is a screen, and on top of the screen is a bunch of meat. Because, you know, operations include a lot of meat in the form of humans. We are going to pipe our fart in underneath that meat so it aerates up through. And we're going to dress all around it with a whole bunch of surgical towels, the most vigorous fuel we were able to test in scale. Hopefully, this whole place will be on fire in a few minutes.
So the team scrub up, and Master Builder Jesse plumbs in the patient to release gas from the intestinal area, simulating an accidental colon puncture and premature ejection of Flatus.
Now Buster's just like Adam, full of farts.
But unlike Adam, there's no risk of Buster failing to perform when the pressure's on.
Yeah, you got one?
I think so. Oh, it's a little tiny one. No. Nothing.
And in addition to the controlled inflow of backflow, the team is adding one further ingredient to the mix.
Oxygen.
Every operating room is an oxygen-rich environment. So we're gonna add oxygen in the mix and see if we get a better result.
Buster's mask will be leaking oxygen, realistically enriching the soon-to-be combustible environment. And with the experimental platform matching the mythical setup as accurately as possible, it's go time.
All right, this is catastrophic operating room farts.
Okay, I'm going to lower in the laser.
Okay, laser starting up in 3, 2, 1.
We got fire almost immediately.
Right?
Okay, turn on the gas, count it in.
Letting it rip in 3, 2, 1.
That was a thing. Something happened.
Something happened.
That was really cool.
The thermal camera will reveal if the addition of the oxygen caused an explosion.
This is the thermal.
Oh! Oh, that was big.
That was cool. Do it again, do it again. All right.
Did you see that? Fire engulfed the entire patient's chest there for a second. I mean, really, if that happened, you'd run for your life.
I mean, I would call that explosion.
But is it enough to confirm the myth? This one's up for debate.
How do we want to call this? Personally, I think it's confirmed.
No way, I totally disagree. This is busted. We never got our laser to ignite our fart. We always had to introduce a new heat source.
That's a good point.
But our setup is totally realistic. I mean, we have the medical grade laser, Adam's synthetic fart, and the oxygen in the air around it. And I totally saw a fire.
And we got a kaboom.
Okay, given that we didn't have to travel outside the confines of an operating room to achieve this, I'm willing to call it plausible. How do you feel?
Plausible it is.
Plausible.
Plausible.
All right, let's get this guy to the OR. These kind of stories are tricky, ones where the premise is sensational, but the execution requires this perfect storm of all these disparate elements to come together to create the catastrophe. They're always butt kickers, and this one is no exception. The guys had to go down all sorts of wrong turns to get to the final result, but they did. And my final takeaway from this is that my farts are still potent.
Adam, Allie, Elijah, and Cannon have hit the road to find a suitable location for a Flatus-fueled rocket launch. That's not a sentence you hear every day.
I am currently standing at the southeastern end of San Francisco Bay at the Tri-Cities landfill. We have had many shenanigans on the properties of waste management. We've launched duct tape trebuchets.
Yep, Adam and Jamie proved their favorite material is pretty handy if you ever need to sling a flaming projectile at an inflatable great white shark.
Yeah! We hit it! It's burning! We've even set fires in fake kitchens and doused them with helicopters full of water.
Granny's on fire too.
That excursion busted the myth that by dousing a kitchen grease fire with water, a chopper load for Mythbustery good measure does not create a fireball.
No fire! Fire gone! Today, we are launching rockets using only my farts. What could be better? Let's get to it. This is our full-size fart rocket, and it's gonna go on quite a journey, but that journey starts here at Mission Control. We're gonna use the same water displacement method for filling it, and this upside-down witch's hat is the filling station where we fill it full of water, then we turn it over and put it in this station where we bubble our gas mixtures into it. Once it's bubbled and sealed, then we head out to the launch pad. This is our launch pad, complete with gantry, where we will install our gassed-up rocket. The two prongs of our neon transformer will pierce the seal on our gas rocket, and we will activate them from right here at launch control. All we have to do is hit this switch, and hopefully our rocket is gonna take off and catch some air. I was trying to think of a fart-based fun about catching some air, but I couldn't come up with one. All right, let's get to launching.
This myth is all about testing if Adam's farts are a viable combustible fuel. I would say if we get a good liftoff on that rocket, his farts are looking pretty good.
The RIP-1 rocket is ready. It's been given an aerodynamic makeover by Elijah and Cannon and has the all-important nozzle for efficient thrust.
Allie had some amazing results experimenting with different ratios of oxygen to fart gas, and we're testing with her best ratio from the parking lot.
And that vital stoichiometry is 60% Adam.
Adding fart gas now.
To 40% oxygen.
You know, after this, Allie, you can tell people that you're an amateur rocket scientist.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's see. All right, there we go. Let's go.
Let's go.
The Flatus flight crew touch base with launch control.
All right, here, will you radio back to base camp for an ignition check?
Rocket stand to base camp.
Copy?
Yes, could we get an ignition check, please?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Ignition check in 3, 2, 1.
Perfect!
And the fully loaded rocket is set into the gantry.
This rocket looks amazing. So far, it looks like we're going to get liftoff, so hold on to your butts.
All right, we're locked and loaded. You guys ready?
Yeah, can't wait for this to hopefully have liftoff.
What do you think? You think it's gonna work?
I think this might have a chance at possibly working.
What do you think?
I have no clue what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's hedging your bets like a Heineman. All right. All right, Elijah, count it in.
All right, full-scale fart rocket test in 3, 2, 1.
That went so high!
amazing. Oh,
Wow.
that went to like 30 or 40 feet, I think.
It's crazy.
It also stayed on a ballistic trajectory. Went doo, doo.
Our rocket went 34 feet into the air and traveled at 38 miles per hour.
It shot way higher than I could have ever imagined, and it was just the weirdest thing to think that it was powered by flatulence.
Adam, your farts blew me away.
At a whopping 38 miles per hour, Adam's gas blew the rocket 34 feet sky high. So, is it enough to call this one a mission success? Is Adam's Flatus really a viable, combustible fuel source?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know about useful, but it's definitely usable.
Good.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather have your fuel than no fuel.
Well, it can boil water and launch rockets, so it's good enough for me.
Excellent.
All right, this is confirmed, but it's totally impractical. Like, nobody would be able to harvest this many farts, and it would take like 2 years, and Adam would have to be hooked up to a tube, which is disgusting. I don't want to think about it, so we're just gonna end it right now. It's confirmed.